Jorge Valero, Europolitics. On the investment plan during the debate, German Finance Minister Schäuble said that he was against national contributions, and instead they should be made through the development banks. But in my view, I mean, he didn't confirm that the KfW will contribute to the fund. So could you confirm that the KfW will contribute to the fund? And on Greece, when you say that you don't expect changes or don't expect changes from our side, does it mean that in your view there is no room for a debt relief in the short, medium term?
I just wanted to echo what the Minister Schäuble said. I don't have any other news from German side. The member states can choose whether they invest directly in EFSI capital, which is possible, and the governance structure will be a kind which will give seats for all the stakeholders, or then the member states can invest in through the national promotional banks. There will be a parallel structure to national promotional banks as the EFSI. So both are very much, or the outcome of using both method is more or less the same. But it's very encouraging that that member states or national promotional banks have shown their interest towards the plan and the fund. So it's difficult to see that there would be majority in Eurogroup supporting haircut of Greece debt. And as I said, the Commission must treat all the governments similarly. We don't change our policy according to elections. And because our duty is to, or the Commission is the guardian of the treaties and rules and commitments. So in that's why it's quite simple position for us. Having said this, we must be ready to discuss with all elected governments on the similar basis.
Yes, hi, Commissioner Wagner from EU Observer here in the back. On Greece, again, do you have any planned meetings yet, or is it all a bit in the air? And there's just 1 month left of this bailout extension. Do you expect there will be an extra extension? And on the fund, if I may, just that the ECB's quantitative easing program has announced about 63 billion a month, and your fund proposes 60 billion in actual lending capacity for 3 years. Does it kind of dwarf if you compare the two, or don't you see any linkage there? Thank you.
The President Juncker has invited Greek ministers' authorities to visit here in Brussels, but the date has not set yet. But of course, we are ready to speak with Greek authorities as soon as possible. No doubt about this. And you mentioned the timeline. It tells that we need to start working together very soon, because the commitments have not changed and time is running out. So we have to get a clear picture what will happen, and also get a confirmation from the Greek government that they will fulfill everything what they have promised to do. So this is very, very important for other European citizens, not only for the institutions, but also to other European citizens. Because this is not a matter of institutions, this is a matter of European citizens and the confidence between the citizens. The size of 60 billion additional lending of new fund, you can also compare the size to the EIB's normal lending, which is 60 to 70 billion per year. And the new risk fund is 60 billion for 3 years. So once we are in a situation where whole 60 billion has been lended out, and it has crowded in private resources around 300 billion within the next 3 years. Let's hope this will happen. Then we are in a situation where everybody thinks that the risk fund is a success story. And I guess that it's quite easy to get more funding to the risk fund. But let's start somewhere. We also must take into account that we are focusing now on the riskier projects with the new fund. And it may cause some restrictions to ability to lend more.
Thank you. I'm sorry, but it's Greece, so it's an issue already covered. But Greek stock exchange has lost almost 40% since Monday. The yields on 2-year bonds are over 16%. Do you think that the EU or the Eurozone has a problem, or the life can go on? And second question, what could be the consequence if the Greek government breach let's say, the rule, the engagement taken by the past government, has the new government has announced this morning with the stop to the privatization process and the minimum wage and so on?
I can be very short. Both Greek government and the Eurogroup and European institutions, the Commission, must behave so that we can increase stability instead of increase uncertainty. If there are clear indications of uncertainty, we have to look to the mirror and think what can be done in order to stabilize the situation, because this is crucial for job creation in Greece. There are positive signals in Greek economy, quite significant primary surplus. Is it second or third fastest growing economy in Eurozone at the moment? And even though the unemployment rate is unacceptably high, it is coming downward. So nobody wants to destroy those positive elements which we already can see as a fruit of growth-friendly reforms. So there is no shortcut to the end and to the goal, and that's why we just have to go. Keep going in sustainable path.
Okay, I will take that question there. Yes, you can see me. Yes, and then Jurek, and then yet another one, and then we will let the Vice President go. Go ahead.
Commissioner Thomas Miglierina, Swiss Radio Television. A very political question, because you said we have to respect democracy. Democratic elections in all member states. It was a very interesting point. There will be many elections in different countries, not only in the south, among them your country. How concerned are you, if anything, that you get trapped between the Syrizas of the south asking for renegotiations and perhaps the Syrizas of the north asking to exactly the opposite thing?
Well, we only have one Europe. We only have one Euro area, and we must respect each other. We are forced to find solutions for complicated issues. I used to be a prime minister of a government of 6 parties. There were almost everybody in the government. And I can assure you that sometimes, actually quite often, we were in a situation where we didn't know how to go forward. But then we found a method which was quite successful. We set a target, what we want to achieve. And target was same for everybody. It was public, and everybody could follow whether we can achieve a target. Then we were flexible with the method, how to get there or how to achieve a target. So target cannot move. Sometimes you can find different ways to achieve a target. But when we are living in a democratic Europe in which rule of law is very important principle, we all must stick to rule of law. We have to respect the same commitments or each other's commitments, and we have to be we have to live according to the same rule base. Otherwise, there is no union of rule of law.